Hello. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
Doing well. And what brings you in here today?
I came because I'm having trouble with procrastination.
Procrastination.
Yeah.
Okay, now when you say that you're having trouble with procrastination, what exactly do you mean? Can you expand on that?
Yes, I have a lot of stuff, assignments and things to write, papers for school that I'm having a hard time just like sitting down and finishing and completing.
Okay. So right now, the issue that you're facing is the fact that you are procrastinating and you're not getting your work done like you should. Is it that you have too many things on your plate, or what is the reason why you find yourself procrastinating?
Well, I have a lot of time, so it's not that I'm like time constrained. I think it's maybe more just like motivational. I'm not sure.
You're not sure. Okay, so what I'm hearing is that that it's not so much that you don't have time to get it done, it's just that you're not getting it done.
Yeah.
Because of whatever the reason is.
Yeah.
So why don't we try to pinpoint what that reason is that you are having that's causing you not to get your work done due to your procrastination.
Okay.
Okay, so why don't you explain to me what maybe a typical day would be like for you when the procrastination ensues?
Okay. So I'm unemployed right now and I'm looking for work. So I've been on a couple of job interviews and everything. But largely my days are open.
Okay.
So sometimes I'll have just meetings to meet up with people for lunch or other things like randomly events to go to. But largely my day is, I'll wake up and not have much to go to. So, late mornings, and then I'll be on my computer doing other things throughout the house, making food, reading.
Okay.
I noticed that I take in a lot of information. It's not that I'm not thinking about the things I need to be doing. It's just that I have a hard time outputting them and like producing something from that.
Okay. So from what you just said to me, it sounds like you wind up kind of filling up your day, whether it's going to a job interview or meeting up with friends and going to events, and you wind up filling up your day with things like that as opposed to finding that time to take care of what needs to be done in regards to your schoolwork. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not, there is some idle time, but largely I think I'm relatively productive with what I'm doing. I'm just doing other things.
You're just doing other things. Okay. So, so procrastination is pretty much what the main issue is. And because of your procrastination, you are not getting what needs to be done, in the idle time that you do have when you're not going out to events and hanging out with your friends. So what needs to probably be recognized at this point is the fact that you do know that you have a procrastination issue, and you want to get that fixed because you know that it's not something that should be going on. So when you do procrastinate and you don't get your work done, and you know that it has to get done, how do you feel when it's not getting done?
I feel okay until the time comes where like the deadline is, and then I get anxious or whatever. But it's hard for me to. I honestly don't feel too much about it until further down the line.
Further down the line.
So like when immediately, I know in the back of my head that it would be best to be using my time to do these things and just chipping away at them bit by bit. But it kind of gets far removed, so
Okay.
that it feels like I'm just pushing it so far to the background that it's out of sight.
Okay. Okay, so the main feeling that I heard you say that you feel when this is going on is that you feel anxious. So with this feeling of anxiety, how do you handle it? Like when you're going through these motions of having the idle time and procrastinating and pushing stuff off to the side, when it comes down to the wire and let's say you have a paper due or you have a project due in school and this anxiety starts to hit you, how does that make you feel? Like, other than anxiety being anxiety, of course, what are your overall emotions when it comes down to it?
I guess, it's overwhelmed. I feel overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
There's part of that actually makes me want to do the work,
Okay.
ironically, right?
Okay.
Because I think it's about like pressure,
Mm-hmm.
and that right now I don't have any pressure,
Mm-hmm.
like in a healthy way.
Okay.
But then it gets too close, and it's just like it's bad because it goes it's too fast, and I'm rushing, and it's not quality work. I'm just doing it because I feel like I have to,
Okay.
rather than I want to.
So what I hear is that with this anxiety comes the other feeling of feeling pressure, feeling the pressure to get things done and get it done right, but you wind up not really putting your all into it because you just want to get it done.
Mhm.
So what are some of the things that you think that maybe you can tell yourself that when you have a paper coming up or when you have something school related or even a job interview, when you have some of those things coming up for you, what are some of the things that you think you can say that will make you want to actually do your work and get it done and maybe overcome the feelings of being overwhelmed or anxious?
There's a huge element of that I do enjoy the work.
Okay.
I do like the work, and I'm interested in kind of learning about the topics, and when I get into it, I get into it.
Okay.
Sort of like it's hard to start.
Okay.
But when I get going,
Uh-huh.
oftentimes it like really flows, and something really great comes out of it. I think it's more just about starting. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it's like that initial hump of just starting it and doing it maybe bit by bit. Maybe something I could say is like, small
Okay.
small bits.
Small bit. Okay, so let's kind of break that down a little bit. So you say that when you do like going to school, and you do like the work because you want the education. It's just the fact that you need to get over a certain hump in order for you to get your work the way it should be. So why don't we say that that when you're feeling these feelings of being overwhelmed or anxious, what are some of the things that you think would maybe calm you down so that you could get over the hump and maybe do that on a more consistent basis?
Well, for me, it seems like the problem is more before that happens. Like, I'm wondering if there's something that can motivate me like long before the due date.
Okay.
Rather than like having to deal with the anxiety of like a last minute scenario.
Okay.
That seems to me like less preferable.
Okay. So the anxiety and the feelings of being overwhelmed usually come on when it's like a last minute stitch effort to get your work done.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the feeling is more, I think before that it's more of an avoidance.
An avoidance.
Like,
okay.
It's like ugh, like I don't want to do this, or I don't know. Like I just suppress it or like put it away somewhere to the side. Like literally, my desk is, or like on my bed or my desk in my room, there's like a big pile. There's like a stack of books.
Okay.
And I'm like, what does that mean? That's like,
Okay.
That might be like how I deal with the things actually too. It's just they get piled up, and then they become like it's too big of a thing to take on.
So do you, when you see those things being stacked up on your desk and on your bed, that's also a feeling, you also start to feel that anxiety and the feeling of being overwhelmed as well, because you don't know how to attack it.
Yeah.
Just like your schoolwork.
Like I don't know where to start.
You don't know where to start. Okay.
It is the schoolwork.
It is the schoolwork.
Like physically.
Okay. So you have a connection between your procrastination and avoidance with schoolwork, and also attacking the piles of stuff that you have, which you also mentioned in the beginning, that it's just a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So we want to try to get that stuff condensed, and we want to get you to a point where you're able to attack these feelings or these times of procrastination. We want to kind of get that kind of on an even playing level. So why don't we give you some homework to do? So I want you to, when you're starting to feel overwhelmed or when you have a paper, I want you to sit down and I want you to figure out how you can start this paper on time without feeling overwhelmed. And when you're about to start this paper, I want you to say this to yourself. I want you to say, it's a paper. I love, going to school, and I really want to learn, and I know I can get this done. Does that sound like a good homework to have, or an easy homework that you can say to yourself?
I can do that.
Okay.
I can do that.
Do you have any other ideas of, of a homework that maybe you think would help you get over that hump?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like I'm disorganized. I guess I feel disorganized, or like chaotic.
Okay.
So
we need
maybe it's just like breaking down what needs to be done more, because I think I take things in big chunks rather than little bits.
Okay, so we can maybe writing a list of things that you can do on certain days. What days do you have class typically?
Right now I'm not in school.
Right now you're not in school?
No, I have work.
You have work. Okay, so what we can do is we can start writing lists. Why don't we start writing a list, and we write a list of all the things that you need to get done. And then let's break it down into 3 different things that you do per day. And as you do it, you check it off, and maybe you'll start not feeling so overwhelmed, because you'll start to see that your list is going to get smaller. Does that sound like a good idea?
Yeah, I need to do that.
Need to do that. So let's do that.
Okay.
Okay. Well, do you feel better?
Yeah, I have a plan.
You have a plan. What's your plan, Stan?
It's more concrete.
It's more concrete. Okay. Well, that's good. Do you feel like you've been helped here today? Do you feel a little bit less anxious and overwhelmed?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
I'm going to come back next week.
Yay, that's what I like to hear. Okay, make sure your homework is done.
I will.
Okay. Cut.